That's right. It's even there on your iPhone and smartphone. The same local news, weather, and sports that's on the full-size edition is on your iPhone and smartphone just by going to DeWittDailyNews.com. If you haven't tried it, why don't you go to Central Illinois' leading online source for local news, police blotter, for the record information, obituaries, and more on your desktop, laptop, iPhone, or smartphone, DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the morning show is Dr. Emily Weidner, Superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools. Good morning, Dr. Weidner. How are you today?
Good morning, Seth. I'm doing great. It's a wonderful day in Cerro Gordo.
Certainly is. How are the spring activities going so far? I know kind of the talk of the town, at least, was the first couple of weeks were just fantastic. That first week of the official spring sports season was unbelievable. How about just how things are going in terms of your extracurriculars there in Cerro Gordo right now?
Yeah, we are in full swing. It's been very windy. I will definitely say that. We would love a day where it's not quite so windy to enjoy some of these sports, but we've got baseball and softball started up, and our kids have their first outdoor track meet, both junior high and high school tomorrow. We'll have them down at Okaw Valley and Sullivan. So we're in full swing with that, and we've also got preparations for our spring musical, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So lots of fun stuff going on here right now.
Very good, very good. Well, that's great to hear. And Dr. Weidner, I know one of the exciting things your students are doing is there's a small contingency of them that are headed to Southern Illinois to get a great look at the solar eclipse that's coming up here next week. How about this and that opportunity for those students?
Yes, I'm very excited about this one. Our high school science teacher, Mr. Ayton, is taking a group of students down to DeSoto, Illinois, which is a small town just north of Carbondale. And he was able to coordinate with DeSoto grade school. They are not in session that day. Most of the schools down there are closed, as you can imagine. But they are allowing us to park in their parking lot and then use one of their kind of big open fields. And Mr. Ayton and his students are going to launch a weather balloon, and it has 2 cameras affixed to it, and ideally it will be 20 miles up during the peak of the solar eclipse, and so they'll have video and photograph footage to look at afterwards. And, you know, it's going to be a cool project for them to launch that and to try to, you know, kind of get all the pieces working. It does have to be a clear day. If it's cloudy, they won't be able to launch for safety reasons, and you know, wouldn't be able to see much anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Great opportunity though for them for sure, and no matter how it plays out, I feel like.
Yeah. Either way, even if it's cloudy or overcast, they'll still get to see, you know, complete darkness for a few minutes in the middle of the day.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely some logistics to figure out with making sure, you know, they know what to expect on getting home. It'll probably be kind of a parking lot on 57 North that afternoon, but it should be a great experience for everybody.
Definitely. Now, did I say next week, Dr. Weidner? I thought that was maybe April 8th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I said
correct.
next week. Yeah, sorry, week after next, but still a very good opportunity for them. And so now, how did they get connected to that? You mentioned one of the schools in Southern Illinois. How did this come about for your students?
Well, Mr. Ayton was just kind of looking around and trying to figure out a good place to launch the weather balloon, and, you know, didn't want to get too far into Carbondale or anything like that. And so we actually just looked it up on Google Maps and called the principal and superintendent, and they were happy to help us out and let us use their space, and then just asked if we would share the footage with them if we got some good footage afterwards. So it's a good partnership.
Very good. So look forward to that. Anything there that I missed, Dr. Weidner, you want to put out there for us?
No, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Ayton. I think it's a great opportunity, and it's a lot of work for him. He'll have to go retrieve the balloon. You know, he's thinking probably in Kentucky afterwards. So,
oh my.
Yeah, it's a neat project for the kids, and I'm thankful that he's willing to take them down there and do that.
Very good, for sure. Again, Dr. Emily Weidner, superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools, our guest on the phone here for this morning. And Dr. Weidner, we're preparing for the last quarter of the school year. And by the way, are your kids on spring break this week? Are they? What's their schedule like here coming up?
Yeah, we have a half day on Wednesday, and then we have Thursday, Friday, and Monday off around the Easter holiday. So I think everybody's ready for a little break, and then we'll kick right back in and go through till I think our last day is May 16th, as long as we don't have any snow days.
There you go. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
So very good. Very good. It feels like a little earlier than most schools, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yep, we kind of power through, don't take a big, long spring break or fall break or anything like that, so we get out pretty early.
Very good. Well, Dr. Weidner, as we think about summer break that's coming up right around the corner, it'll be here before we know it. What's going on in Cerro Gordo schools with that? Is there any projects, any maintenance work you're thinking about? What are you guys preparing for?
Sure. Well, the big thing, we just finished up our HVAC project in the junior high this last fall, so that was one big project wrapped up. And then our next one is a roof on our junior high addition. That's a project that's been kind of, they've been looking at for a long time. And so we're going to put that out to bid here pretty soon, and then hopefully be able to do that over the summer, if not early fall. We're very fortunate because the buildings are in very good shape, and we've had some recent construction, back in 2018, 2019. So there aren't a lot of huge projects to do. I think the next thing on the horizon that we would like to look at is at our sports facilities. Our concession stand and storage over there is a little older, and we would love to put some bathrooms out there. So that's something that we want to kind of look at. Still a little bit longer term, but definitely something that's on the radar.
Sure. Well, is there a plan in place? Has the school board discussed kind of the future of where you want to take your facilities planning, Dr. Weidner? How about that?
Sure. We are actually going to look at doing some strategic planning, so that'll be something that will be, up on the list, that we will not only talk about facilities, but also talk about our goals for curriculum and instruction and community involvement. A pretty standard thing to do when you have a new superintendent come in. So the board has given me a little bit of time to get my feet under me and kind of get to know the district and the kids a little bit before we dive into that strategic planning. But I think the facilities will be part of that. Right now we have, a lot of basic updates and maintenance and things like that schools typically have. Roofs are always part of the planning, as well as tuck pointing. Those are just kind of ongoing things. Mm-hmm. But really the facilities are in great shape overall.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when it comes to facilities, I know you kind of walked in on, some major work that the district had taken on just before your arrival. Speak to that a little bit and how much that improved the state of your facilities there in Cerro Gordo.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Seth. I was a little nervous about walking into a big project that was already going on, especially with it kind of coming right up to the beginning of the school year. Mm-hmm. But Davis WHOW did a lot of the work for us out here, and they were wonderful, made sure that we got in time for school, and so far everything has been running great. So it was a lot to manage over the summer, and our custodial and maintenance staff had to do a lot of work to make sure that we were in school on time. But our systems are up and running, and everything's going great. So I can't say enough good things about how that whole process went with BLDB and Davis WHOW and Aeroglass. It was a well-oiled machine.
Now remind us kind of what that project entailed. What is all new now at Cerro Gordo with that?
So in our junior high edition, it was a complete rehaul of the HVAC system, and that was made possible by federal COVID dollars. So one of the things that you could use those COVID dollars for was to improve indoor air quality. So the district took advantage of that. That would, something that probably wouldn't have been possible without those, we call them ESSER 3 funds in the school district.
Now, even before that, Dr. Weidner, there was some extensive renovation, remodeling done. I think maybe mostly during COVID, but how about that? And the facilities update that they took on around the COVID time. How about those things?
Sure. Yeah, that's all a little bit before my time, so I can't speak to it too much. But basically, we did some renovations and new construction connecting the junior high school to the gym. So everything was enclosed with a nice cafeteria area and library area, and then our junior high gym. So now we have another gym space that is really excellent and kind of allows us to do a lot more. It is nice, too, that our kids don't have to go outside. They used to have to walk outside to get to certain classes. We do have our ag shop that's still, a separate building, but for the most part, our kids are inside, and a lot of our, high school facility area is just a few years old.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. So all those things are very exciting for the district. And when you talk about facilities improvements, Dr. Weidner, it's not a cheap endeavor. You've really got to have a good fund balance to either tap into or some sort of bonding base that you can get to. So how about just funding for these projects, and how Cerro Gordo schools kind of go about planning for even smaller things that can still be quite substantial in terms of their cost? How about planning financially for those?
Sure. Yeah, we are fortunate that we do have the penny sales tax, so we get that for Macon, Pyatt, and Moultrie, small amount for Moultrie, but so we get that money that helps us with our facilities, and we use that, to make sure we have funds for upgrades. We also use it to abate bonds, so that, that takes some of the burden off the taxpayer. Our bonds that we've sold have been related to the buildings in recent years, so not a lot of debt limit left for us at this point, but we do have a nice fund balance in our working cash. We did use some of that working cash to pay for the HVAC project in addition to the COVID dollars that I mentioned. So I really think that it is very helpful for schools when we have that penny sales tax to help us with building renovations and new projects.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, Dr. Weidner, anything on facilities in terms of just maybe your thoughts on their status, where the district is at, or what's next? Anything we didn't touch on there you want to put out there for us?
I would just say that I'm very fortunate that I came into a district that's in really good shape in terms of facilities and grounds, and so I feel like it's my job to make sure that we stay up to date and keep everything in good shape, and then also kind of look to the future and see where we want to, make some upgrades. And I think that we're just starting that process. We're getting a building and grounds committee with the school board together so that we can make a list and prioritize what we want to do and how we want to finance it.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. Well, Dr. Weidner, where do folks go to learn about all things Cerro Gordo schools?
You can go to cgbroncos.org, or you can look up Cerro Gordo CUSD number 100 on Facebook.
That is Dr. Emily Weidner, Superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools, our guest on the phone this morning. More to come with Dr. Weidner here on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
I never thought about being a salesperson ever until I realized we are all in sales. I'm Pat Bryson, and I've spent my entire adult life creating campaigns for businesses using the powerful medium of radio. The Miller Media Group has immediate openings in our sales department, and we might be looking for you. The person who will excel in sales is self-managed and self-motivated to achieve higher goals. They win if they help other people to win. They enjoy helping local businesses succeed. This is a full-time job. If you are good enough to join our team, we will train you and support you. I train salespeople all over the world, and I'm ready to help you become a top multimedia specialist with the Miller Media Group. Previous sales experience is a plus, but not a requirement. But a long-term career is. Are you looking for us? Send your resume to sales@randyradio.com.
Hey, this is Todd Gleason from Illinois Extension here with a time change for our daily market report on WHOW. You can now catch our daily review of the commodity markets at 5:06 on all of WHOW's many platforms. You'll still hear all of our commodity analysts and weather professionals each afternoon, but at a brand new time. And you'll still hear the weekly wrap-up of the commodity markets right here on WHOW when Commodity Week airs Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. Remember the time change for the daily closing market report on WHOW at our new time, 5:06 p.m. weekdays.
We are ready for spring here at Love It Once More Thrift Store in Clinton. This is Connie, and I also wanted to let you know that this month, when you bring us a donation, we'll give you a card worth 10% off your total purchase. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Ryan Utterback with Utterback Real Estate. It's greening up out there, and you know what that means.
St. Patty's Day, lad.
No. Green means go time for buying and selling.
The luck of the Irish be with you.
And that's why you're the other Ryan.
Click the Utterback Real Estate icon on DeWittDailyNews.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Dr. Emily Weidner, Superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools, is my guest on the phone today. And Dr. Weidner, you were telling me before we got started this morning that your district had a cool opportunity to bring together a whole bunch of band students from your conference. What's going on here? What was this all about?
Sure. So all the schools in the Lincoln Prairie Conference meet in the fall, and they nominate their best music students, and then they select music for an honor band performance that happens in the spring. They also nominate and hire a guest clinician, typically a college professor, to work with the students through the afternoon and into the evening. So last Thursday, we had 85 students, members of the honor band from each school, come to Cerro Gordo from 11 in the morning to 7 at night, and they practice together during the day throughout the building and, as a group and in smaller groups, and then they put on a concert that night for the families and, community. So that was a really neat opportunity for us to be able to host that.
That is really cool. Very good. So congratulations to you all to be able to do that. I know that's, I'm sure, quite an honor. And to have all those, all those students all together, I'm sure that there's overlap in those students and the various activities they do. But I'm sure like music is one of those things they rarely get the chance to come together on, and to be able to do that, I'm sure, was fun.
It was, yeah. Our band director is Mr. Pritchard. He's been here 7 years. He's got about 32 kids in our program. So I think it was a great opportunity for him. He does a wonderful job with the students, and I think he did an outstanding job hosting.
Sure, very good. Well, Dr. Weidner, let's move along here for this morning and talk about some staffing things. How about staffing in your district? How y'all doing with that?
We are in great shape right now. We are in need of a full-time speech-language pathologist for next year. One of the things that is unique about Cerro Gordo is that we have a very small caseload, so it's a very attractive opportunity for speech-language pathologists. So that is something that we will be searching for. But other than that, we don't have any openings and are in great shape.
How do you do that? How do you pull that off? I'm sure people want to know. How are you able to do that, Dr. Weidner?
Well, we'll see how the rest of the summer goes. Sometimes things change and, people move at the last minute and things like that. So we will consider ourselves lucky for the moment. But I think really we keep staff here because it's a wonderful place to work. We have small class sizes. We don't have a lot of discipline issues that teachers are faced with. It's just a really wonderful community to teach in.
Sure. That begs the question, does that mean the opportunities for your students are limited, where maybe you don't need the teachers for those high demand positions? I think foreign language is one that that districts really struggle to fill. Some of those trades and home ec and those types of courses. Just speak to the opportunities and are the teachers in those positions currently in Cerro Gordo?
Yeah. Actually, I think we're one of the few schools in the area that offers Spanish and French right now. So I think our kids are very fortunate in that regard. We do have a lot of students who take advantage of opportunities over at Richland. We have students who go there for Heartland Tech Academy and Richland Transfer Academy. But we also are adding dual credit courses next year. So we have 2 teachers that just met with Richland last week, actually, and so we are going to be able to expand our dual credit that we offer here in Cerro Gordo, which we're very excited about. I think one of the things that we're proud of here is that our students, a lot of them can earn an associate's degree while they're here in Cerro Gordo before they even graduate high school. So we are small, but we do have plenty of opportunity for our kids to take the classes that they want to take.
that leads me to wonder, how much does what comes down from the state of Illinois impact, the opportunities that you have to offer your kids, and overcoming looking for staff. I think of like this foreign language requirement that the state is putting out there, and there's others like it, where you have to have a course on certain things, and again, finding the staff to man those courses. Do you mind speaking to that dichotomy, if you will?
Sure. Yeah, I think it is tricky, especially for a small school. But one of the things that we do is we offer tuition reimbursement for our teachers. So oftentimes, we ask teachers to get certified in different areas. So we have a math teacher who also teaches PE. Our French teacher also teaches PE. We kind of have teachers who become jack of all trades, basically, so that we can fulfill whatever needs come up. And I think the tuition reimbursement helps to encourage teachers to do that as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, Dr. Weidner, I look at the clock here. About a minute left with you. What did I miss today? Did you want to put anything else out there for us?
The last thing would just be, I'm really proud of our seniors. They have once a month the Chamber of Commerce sends businesses in, Caterpillar, ADM, DMH, a lot of major players out of Decatur. They come in and they do kind of career prep with our students. They help them with interviews, writing resumes, and eventually they even hire some of our students. So I'm proud of our district for kind of being career-oriented as well and helping our kids get ready for life after high school.
There you go. Very good. Well, Dr. Weidner, again, how do folks learn about all things Cerro Gordo schools?
cgbroncos.org is our website, or you can look us up on Facebook at Cerro Gordo CUSD number 100.
Very good. That is, again, Dr. Emily Weidner, Superintendent of Cerro Gordo Schools, our guest on the phone. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news on the way.